Hello everyone, myself Dr. Roshani Patel and I am working as Assistant Professor in Nutan College of Physiotherapy. Today I am discuss about the flipped classroom, which is the most popular pedagogical strategy. Now, content of this presentation, first I have discussed about the history, what is a flip, then why flipping is required, the four pillars of flipped classroom, how to flip your class, 6 easy steps to flip your classroom, some activities which is done in flipped classroom, some example of flipped classroom, benefits, advantage and disadvantage of flipped classroom, some tools, tips and finally some researches. Now first history of fifth classroom. The fifth classroom began in the Colorado with the two teachers, Jonathan and Aaron, who realized how difficult it was to get material to the student. After that, he recorded their lecture and converted it to video and share with the classroom. This is called the pre-broadcasting. Now, what is the flip? Flip classroom is a form of the band learning which students learn content online by watching video lecture, usually at the home. The homework is done in the class with teacher and student discussing and solving questions. The teacher interaction with the student is more personalized and guidance instead of the lecturing in emphasize. The aim of the fifth classroom to increase the student engagement and learning by the reading at the home and the work on the live problem solving during the class time. Now, why you should flip your classroom? Flipping help busy student, also help to increase the student-teacher interaction, student-student interaction. Flipping allow the teacher to know that student in better way. Flipping also help the struggling to the student. Flipping help the student to all ability to excel and flipping allow to student pause and rewind their teacher video. And also flipping help to educate the parents also. Flipping make your class transparent. Also increase the student and student teacher interaction. Flipping change the classroom management also. The flipped classroom, there is no single flipped classroom model. It is the approach. The flipped classroom is not the methodology, is the ideology. Now, next is the four pillar of fifth classroom. F means fixable learning environment. Means educator create the fixable space where students choose when and where they learn. Additionally, educator who flip their class are fixable in the expectation of the student timeline for learning. L means learning culture. In class time is dedicated to exploring topic in greater depth and creating rich learning opportunity. As a result, students are actively involved in the knowledge construction as they participate in and evaluate their learning in manner that are personally meaningful. I means intentional content for instruction. Learning Flip learning educator determine what they need to teach and what material students should handle on their own. So accordingly they prepare the video and after that shared. Educator use intention content to maximize classroom time in order to adopt the method of student center and active learning strategy. Now next is P. P means professional educator. The role of the professional educator is even more important and often more demanding in flipped classroom than in traditional one. During class time, they need to observe students, providing them with the instant feedback and assess their work, while professional educators take on less visibly prominent role in the flipped classroom. They remain the initial part, they enable flipping learning to occur successfully. Now next, how to flip your classroom. First you determine the technology, then after that create your video and content. Be transparent with student and families. Hold your student accountable and keep it up. Now one by one, first determine the technology. First you know about the technology, how to create the account, how to upload your video, how to edit your video and how to student apply this technology for the using the flipping classroom. Now next is Create your video and content, not more than 5 minutes. Create the short video of all topics and short and sweet video so easily understand for the student. Now be transparent with the student and families. It is helpful to explain what flipped learning is and how it can benefit student and families. Making a significant change in your class culture be difficult, so be prepared to address concern and revisit the how and the why often. Now, fourth one is the hold your student accountable. The flip learning depend on the student participant. So also know about student also know about the technology, how to create the account and how to assess the teacher's video. So one way to encourage the student accountably is by using entry ticket or short formatic quiz at the beginning of the lesson. This can help you determine which student understood their homework and which student need more help. Fifth, keep it up. Lastly, find a schedule and system that work for you so that filming, lesson planning and assessment all become routinely and easily manageable to student as well as teacher. Now 6 easy steps to guide the flip classroom. First, you plan which topic you want to flip. After that, record the video, not more than 5 minutes. And third step is share. Share your content video to the student. Now the fourth step is change. Now your student have the view your lesson. They are prepared to actually go more in the depth than even before. Fifth step is divided in the group. Discuss the topic is to separate into the groups where students are given a task to perform. Write some poem, play, makes the video. And last step, regroup. Get the class back together to share their individual work and idea. Ask the question and divide deeper than even before. Now the fifth classroom activity for the student. First activity is the collaborate active learning. Means one of the most important concept for teaching the student is the idea of active learning, where the student are engaged in the learning process rather than being passive consumer of information. The precise activity that the teacher select will depend somewhat on the topic that is being taught. However, it's a common feature should be include student being placed into the group where they work together to apply the information they learn individually. This could mean problem solving activity and practical work. By introducing the collaborating element to the classroom, students are stimulated able to develop their teamwork and communication skill. Furthermore, the student can help further their understanding of the topic by sharing the idea, chal challenging one another, and discuss the thought with their teacher. Next is the think, pair, share activity. While flipping classroom approach can be extremely beneficial, getting the right combination of online and offline activity is important. This is the key feature of binding learning. And if students are going to expose some new information online, they need offline method for furthering that understanding as well. Simple think pair share activity can be idea for this with classroom setting because they combine both independent and collaborative learning. Here the students are asked to sit individually and think about the material they have learned. For that, they are then asked to pair up with another student in the class. Once in that pair, the student will then discuss their idea together and then ultimately share their thoughts with the whole class. Explaining concept to another student can help them better understand the material while sharing it with the class provide a greater opportunity for teacher to ask further question. Now, third is the whole class discussion when the topic being introduced to student and the home are slightly more complex and the teacher need to know that the concept have been understood. Sometimes it's the best to spend lesson time having the whole classroom discussion. Within the broad framework, there is number of the different option from the informal discussion to brainstorming. The main focus here is get the student to talk about the topic at the hand and relieve what they have understood and where the understanding may be limited. There may be also the topic where the student hearing different viewpoint can be help them think about the information more comprehensively, furthering their understanding. There is this approach also improve their communication skill and improvement of knowledge. Now next is a quiz and other games. Means students learn based when they are having the fun. So it can be beneficial to try to introduce game into the classroom. It particularly class quiz can be useful way for teacher to get the sense of where students are with their understanding, while also making sure the lesson itself it is engaging as possible. The quiz question is based on the topic which already teachers share with your online class. Quiz is a good idea to break the class into the team to avoid the struggling out of the student and who are lagging behind it. For example, some role play on particular topic like OA knee and ACL injuries to easy to understand this topic in better way. Now next is in class and flex flip means one of these biggest the flipped classroom model and the is the related to concept of digital divide that exists between those who have regular access to computer with the high quality net and those who do not have such access within their home. So the great way teacher to combat this is the thought the flex flip classroom approach otherwise known as in flip. Here the same topic approach existed with the student being introduced to material online. But this initial learning taking place within the classroom at the beginning of the lesson. Now, next is some example of flipped classroom. First one is a conventional flipped classroom. The first example of flipped classroom conventional flip classroom, standard flipping classroom approach, which is the what people trying to think of when discussing this topic. The basic model here is the student are given the access to learning material, usually through online video and content, allowing them to attend the class with the basic knowledge, basic information on that topic. The classroom time is then spent with the student, putting their knowledge into the practical work and expanding their understanding. In many cases, this approach leads to more enjoyable and more interactive classroom-based lesson. Next one is a group-based flipped classroom. Group-based flipped classroom model is similar to conventional flipped classroom, but an emphasis in place on the group activity. This means that once they arrive in the classroom, students are placed into the group. So they further their understanding of topic together. This allows them to challenge one another while their comprehension can be improved by learning how to explain a topic to their peers. Some teachers to choose to emphasize the group aspect of this model even further by including teamwork element within the home learning stage. Like some example, how to correct the lordosis curvature. One group said strengthen the weaker muscle. Second group said like stretching of tightness muscle. Third group say reduce the weight of that patient. All three are same right answer, but point of view is different. So the better understanding of the student. Third one is the debate focus flip classroom. Means work as a follow like a student take in the initial information at home, then attend the class and engage in the debate or series of debate with their peers. Various studies have found that the act of the debating can enhance the student engagement while also improving the learning outcome. Debate can also strengthen the understanding by relieving some of the complexity and different viewpoint that exist within the topic. Furthermore, debate help to reinforce the information learned at the home, resulting in supervised knowledge retention. Like debate, after ankle sprain injury, which modality and which exercise very beneficial for the patient. Now next is discussion focused flip classroom. In this classroom, students acquire information about the topic at home, often through the deployment of education video content. From here, they attend the classroom and engage in much more in-depth discussion about the topic, relieving some of noises and broadcasting their understanding and learning about the different perspective. However, this occurs in a more relaxed environment than you might expect from formal debate. This particular approach can be especially valuable for subject area where contexts play a crucial role and where question may not have to simple or correct answer with example including like history, arts. Next is a micro flip classroom. This is combination of traditional and flipped classroom, offering to teachers some time for more conventional lecture-based instruction while still providing to student and teacher with the sum of beneficial of flipped classroom. Next is in class and flex flip classroom. Much of the criticism of flip classroom style course focus on the idea of the digital divide and what happens when students do not have a reliable frequency and even access to technology they need at home. And the in the class flip classroom, the flex classroom aim to solve this. The basic approach is still is the same, which online information follow by the more practicalism. But the initial learning is carried out using the computer in the school. There is also flexibility here as the teacher can show the entire class the learning material or provide the period of time at the beginning of the lesson for the student to all acquire information independently. Alternatively, the student may be asked to use computer in the school but still do not initial work in their own time. 7.1 is the virtual flipped classroom. As the name suggests, the virtual flipped classroom follows the basic flipped classroom approach, which student talking in information from online resources first. But the key difference is that the lesson are also carried out online in the virtual environment. This initially allow the flipped classroom to be utilized in situations where the classroom attendance is not possible and for distance and hybrid learning course too. Depending on the situation, this can also be combined with in-person class or one-to-one session. This may be held regularly and or at agreed interval in order to allow teacher to check progress more closely. Last one is the flip teacher approach. Finally, one of the most unique flip classroom example coming from of the flip teacher model, which sometimes referred to as the double flip classroom. Here students are asked to create the learning material such as the video in order to demonstrate their understanding of that particular topic. Much like the debate and discussion based flip classroom, this approach helps to reinforce what students had learned. This approach also has supplementary benefit such as helping to develop technology skill, allowing to students to gain experience in academic instruction, which can be valuable for those who wish to build the career in academics. Now next is benefit of flipped classroom to student and also the teacher. First is the benefit for teacher. Less time, well time management in classroom, more time for the tailoring approach to each class, opportunity to create more engaging the class, content can be reused. Benefit for student, greater development of independent learning skill, able to build the deeper understanding of topic, less affected by absenteeism, improve the engagement, improve the knowledge about the technology also. Now the some tools for flip classroom. First one is Khan Academy, which is very nowadays which is most popular tools. Helpful resource for video lecturing with over 3,000 video covering the 12 subject. Educator can also view how far the student has gotten in their lesson, giving them a better idea of what to expect when they get back in the physical classroom. Now next tools is Nearput. It is a handy platform for teacher and student to engage with the real-time interactive lesson with option for gamification, activity and more. Third one is the BrainPom. Is the animated education site for student that can be used to help teach a variety of subject with the fun, entertainment, animated movie and some other tools like YouTube, linking, SlideShed also is available. Now what is different between traditional versus flipped classroom? In traditional classroom, before the classroom, the learner come to the classroom based on the timetable schedule. And in flipped classroom, before the class, learner are given study material already by teacher and they know about the basic idea of that topic. And for traditional classroom, during classroom activity, instruction deliver the lecture to the classroom and provide with the study material. But in flipped classroom, the learner discuss the content with their peers and instruction, group discussing. And last one is the after classroom activity for traditional. The learner are given practical exercise or activity to enhance their learning. But in fake classroom, learner already know about the topic in the very depth. Now this is the also the difference between traditional and the flipped classroom. In flipped classroom, before the class, student also know about the basic some information so easily understand and remember that information, and during classroom they apply the information and analyze that topic in very depth, and finally here after classroom all the queries are solved. Now some advantage for flipped classroom. Student take ownership for learning. It can more efficient. It give more time to explore the content. Lesson and content are more accessible. It promote the student-centered learning and collaboration. It give more time to explore the content. Also improve the knowledge on that particular topic on very depth. Now some disadvantage also. It creates a digital divide. It depends on the preparation and trust, depend on the application. Teacher may have extra work. Student may forced to spend time in front of the screen. Now the flipped classroom tips, some tips. First, you do not need to complete flipped classroom. You may want to start by flipping one lesson and one unit that has been particularly difficult for students in the past. By exposing them to the lecture content before the class, you can spend class time ensuring that students fully understand the topic by addressing specific point of confusion. Now next is keep the length of the each video under the 5 minutes. Make multiple video if necessary by separating the content into the logical tracks. Do not record and post the entire lecture. Student will not watch it. If you use the video from YouTube, you can use TubeChop to select just portion of video for student to watch and post that link generated by the TubeChop. Now ask the student to respond 2 to 6 questions after watching a video. If you post multiple video, ask the 2 to 6 questions after the each video. This will help them recall and understand the content, and you could include some multiple choice question and some short answer question. Fifth, last tip is keep in mind how much time you are asking student to spend watching video and responding to question and completing other work outside of class. Do not overwhelm student with the work outside of class. Now some researches. Now first is Aronson and Irfan Storm report the series of study of a classroom in higher education. According to that research indicate that students in the flipped selection increase the attendance by 20%. Students are also reported that they enjoy an interactive learning method. Next study conducted the Jalan Nori in 2016. According to that, the large majority of students had a positive attitude toward the flipped classroom. The use of the video and models and they had the positive attitude toward the flipped classroom was strongly correlate the perception of the increased motivation, engagement and increase the learning and efficiency of learning. Low achiever significant report more positively as compared to high achiever with the regarding to attitude towards the use of video as the learning tool and perceived the increase the learning and perceived the more efficient learning. Now, next study, according to Zainab, done in 2019, the fifth classroom and request that student read the textbook, handout and PPTs before the class to preview relevant data in the lesson. A lot of class time was then saved for the student asking the question and analyzes the case. Such a learning style received the student positive support to prove that the student preferred the learning style of the flipped classroom compared to traditional learning style. Thank you.